You ever try a wearable that feels like it should be useful, but when you actually use it in real life, you end up ignoring it? That's the moment most smart glasses have failed at. They promise the future, but forget about the present. But when you put on the Xiaomi Smart Audio Glasses, something almost unremarkable happens. They just work. Not theatrically, not dramatically, not like some sci-fi gadget. They work like a tool. You suddenly find yourself using again and again throughout the day because they fit into your normal routines instead of demanding you adapt to them. And that's exactly why people are starting to talk about these glasses as a signal of where everyday wearable tech is really headed. From the first few minutes of wearing them, the emphasis on practicality becomes obvious. The Xiaomi Smart Audio Glasses look like conventional eyewear, not bulky AR goggles with visible sensors and displays. Not an awkward headset that constantly reminds you it's technology, just simple glasses with a clean silhouette. That design choice matters more than people expect. The glasses sit comfortably on your nose and ears. And after a short adjustment period, you start noticing something important. They don't feel heavy or obtrusive. The weight distribution stays even across the frame, and because the electronics, speakers and microphones, are embedded neatly into the temples, you don't have the sensation of tech pressing into your head. In real everyday use, comfort like this is non-negotiable. If a wearable feels intrusive after an hour, you stop using it. These glasses hold up for hours without fatigue, which means you're more likely to actually wear them instead of just testing them. Once you connect the glasses to your phone via Bluetooth, a simple, familiar pairing process like you'd use for earbuds, the audio experience becomes the centerpiece of what these glasses actually do. The open-ear sound delivery system directs audio toward your ears without blocking ambient sound, so you can listen to media, podcasts, voice navigation, or phone calls without isolating yourself from your environment. That's significant in everyday life. You're aware of nearby voices, traffic, or announcements while still getting personal audio. This kind of open awareness is fundamentally different from traditional headphones or earbuds, which sacrifice environmental sound for immersion. Xiaomi's design lets you keep both. Taking calls becomes frictionless in ways that start small but matter a lot over time. The built-in microphones capture your voice clearly in typical conditions, and you answer calls by tapping the temple, one tap to accept, another tap to hang up. There's no need to fish for a phone, no need to dig through a pocket, and no awkward earbud adjustment. This feels especially convenient when your hands are full, commuting, carrying groceries, or walking with someone. The glasses behave as an intuitive extension of your phone's audio functions without trying to replace your phone entirely. That's a grounded reality for everyday wearables. They work with your phone, not instead of it. Music playback feels natural too. You don't get the closed-in sensation of earbuds, and you can control tracks with simple physical gestures on the frame. The responsiveness is immediate. A tap here pauses a song, a double tap skips forward. There's no complicated gesture. Set to memorize, no hidden interaction buried in menus. This simplicity keeps the experience lightweight and easy. Exactly what people want when they're living their lives and not testing the prototype. Beyond calls and audio, the glasses handle notifications in a subtle, unobtrusive way. When paired with a phone, basic alerts like calls or certain app notifications are relayed through the connected device. Again, without demanding attention or pulling you into the phone screen constantly. The emphasis stays on minimal interruption. You don't feel besieged by alerts. You stay aware of them while continuing your day. And that open-ear design offers practical safety benefits as well. If you're walking outdoors, cycling, or navigating a busy environment, you remain connected to your surroundings. That contrasts sharply with earbuds or over-ears that cover you up and leave you guessing about ambient sounds. Xiaomi's glasses, in everyday use, show how wearable audio can complement human awareness rather than replace it. The speakers are efficient enough to provide clear listening at moderate volumes, and at normal listening levels, there's very little sound leakage, meaning people nearby aren't hearing what you're listening to. Maintaining privacy without isolation. Let's talk about comfort at length, because this is where a lot of wearable tech gets it wrong. Smart glasses should feel effortless on your head, the way a good pair of sunglasses or prescription glasses does. Xiaomi seems to understand this. After hours, the glasses don't dig in or pinch the temples. The pressure distribution remains subtle, and because you're not constantly adjusting them, you forget they're there, which is exactly the moment a wearable truly works. Wearable tech fails when you constantly check or fiddle with it. These glasses stay in the background. Battery. Life here feels practical, not exaggerated. Xiaomi doesn't promise extreme uptime that feels impossible in real life. Instead, the glasses last through normal daily cycles, calls, intermittent media, and standby time. When it's time to charge, you simply place them on the magnetic charger and they top up. It's familiar in concept, like charging wireless earbuds, and it fits into an existing user mindset rather than forcing you to rethink daily charging habits. And here's where a subtle shift becomes clear. None of these features are dramatic. There's no holographic display. There's no AI overlay projected onto the world. There's no unrealistic voice bot performing brain-reading tasks. Instead, what you get is a set of features that align with how people actually live their days. Transport, errands, audio, calls, short informational cues, and staying aware of surroundings. In everyday scenarios, reading a message while shopping, taking a call while moving through a crowd, listening to a podcast on the way home, the glasses feel like an extension of existing behavior. Rather than a new paradigm, you must learn. Compare that with anything that promises futuristic leaps, and the difference isn't in capability. It's in reality. These glasses operate within the constraints of real life, and that's why they feel coherent rather than gimmicky. When wearable tech integrates seamlessly, when it doesn't ask you to stop, look at a screen, or adjust your behavior, it starts to feel useful rather than experimental. That's the subtle shift these glasses reveal. Success in wearable tech isn't about how far beyond human habits you can go, but how naturally technology can fit into them. Another point worth exploring in real life is social comfort. Because the glasses do not include an outward-facing camera or visible recording elements, wearing them in public doesn't prompt questions or awkward moments. People around you see what looks like regular eyewear. That's not accidental. Many smart glasses that incorporate cameras, even legitimately useful ones, introduce social friction, because bystanders aren't sure when recording is happening. Xiaomi's audio-first approach sidesteps that entirely, reinforcing the idea that wearable tech can be subtle rather than conspicuous. Over the course of a day, from morning commute to evening walk, the glasses maintain that steady, unobtrusive presence. You don't find yourself flipping around menus or learning new interaction patterns. You don't have to memorize voice commands or worry about accidental triggers. The experience is predictable, and in wearable tech, predictability is more valuable than excitement, because it means you trust the device rather than being surprised by it. What's fascinating is how this grounded experience actually starts to shift expectations of what smart wearables can and should do. Instead of grilling users with constant alerts or demands for attention, these glasses stay on the periphery until needed, then fulfill their function without fanfare. That's not a flashy future. That's a practical present. And that is exactly why the conversation around wearable tech is starting to change. As smart wearables continue to evolve, the emphasis is slowly moving away from speculative future features and toward usable present-day behavior. Xiaomi's Mijia smart audio glasses embody that transition. They do not try to be every tool in the tech shed. They do a few things very well, and they match how people actually move through their environments. That's why people are genuinely talking about them today. Not for dramatic promises, but for small, consistent improvements in everyday life. When you look at the future of wearable tech through that lens, not as wild concepts, but as useful tools that integrate with real human behavior, the Xiaomi approach feels less like a buzzword and more like a blueprint. And as we'll explore next, that blueprint reveals not just how these glasses work, but why they matter in the context of smart wearables that people actually use every day. And once you start looking at these glasses not as futuristic gadgets, but as everyday companions, the comparison with Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses becomes less about headline features and more about lived experience. Both devices aim to sit naturally in your daily routine, but they approach that goal from different directions, and understanding those differences only really happens when you imagine using them hour after hour instead of demoing them for 5 minutes. Let's start with the simple act of wearing them throughout a typical day. You wake up, put on your glasses the way you would any normal pair, and the expectation is that they disappear into your routine. Xiaomi's audio-first design means your primary interaction is passive. You're listening, answering calls, or occasionally tapping the temple. There's no visual interface competing for your attention. This creates a rhythm where the glasses support your day instead of structuring it. You don't plan moments around them. They slot into existing behaviors like commuting, walking, or working. With Meta Ray-Ban Smart Glasses, the experience centers more heavily around capture and sharing. The built-in camera allows you to take photos or short videos directly from your perspective. In real-world use, this feels very different from audio-focused wearables. Capturing a moment becomes an intentional act. You press the capture button. You hear the confirmation tone and the content syncs to your connected phone. That functionality is genuinely useful when you want a hands-free way to record a scene, but it also introduces a layer of awareness. You're actively using a device, not just wearing one. That distinction matters because wearable tech lives or dies on friction. The Xiaomi glasses reduce friction by minimizing decision points. You don't constantly ask, should I use this feature? Because most of what they do is already embedded in familiar habits, listening to music, taking calls, or hearing navigation prompts. The interaction model is deliberately simple. Tap, listen, continue living. Over hours of use, this simplicity becomes the defining trait. There's very little cognitive load attached to the device. Meta Ray-Ban glasses, by comparison, feel more like a wearable camera system with integrated audio. Their open-ear speakers handle calls and media in a similar spirit, audio without blocking the world. But the presence of the camera subtly changes how and when you think about using them. In social situations, for example, you might hesitate before recording because you're aware of the social context. That doesn't make the feature bad. It simply adds a layer of decision-making that doesn't exist in audio-only wearables. Comfort over extended periods also reveals practical differences. Both glasses aim to resemble traditional eyewear, but how they distribute weight and house electronics influences how they feel after several hours. The Xiaomi glasses prioritize a balanced temple design focused on audio components, which contributes to a steady, unobtrusive feel. In everyday use, commuting, desk work, errands, you're less likely to notice pressure points. Comfort becomes something you appreciate only when it isn't compromised. Meta Ray-Ban glasses, carrying camera hardware alongside speakers and microphones, maintain a familiar Ray-Ban aesthetic. The frames feel like premium sunglasses or prescription glasses, and for many users, that familiarity is a major advantage. But because you're wearing a device capable of capture, your awareness of the glasses may surface more often, not due to discomfort, but due to intentional interaction. You're thinking about moments to record, which keeps the device slightly more present in your mind. Audio behavior is where the overlap becomes clearer. Both devices use open-ear speaker systems designed to direct sound toward the wearer while preserving environmental awareness. In everyday scenarios, walking down a street, riding public transit, or talking to someone nearby, this design lets you stay connected to your surroundings. The audio is personal without being isolating. Calls feel natural because you're speaking normally, not projecting into a phone. That hands-free communication is one of the strongest arguments for smart eyewear in general. It removes a layer of device handling that we've accepted for years as normal. The Xiaomi glasses lean heavily into this audio identity. They function almost like wearable speakers that follow you through your day. You hear directions while navigating a city without staring at a screen. You take a call while carrying bags. You listen to a podcast while staying aware of announcements or conversations. The glasses don't pull your eyes away from your environment, which reinforces their role as a background tool rather than a focal device. Ray-Ban glasses extend that audio experience into capture workflows. When you record a clip or snap a photo, you're combining perspective with sound. That integration can feel powerful when documenting travel or everyday moments hands-free. But again, the difference lies in intention. Xiaomi's glasses excel at passive presence, always ready, rarely demanding. Meta Ray-Ban glasses introduce creative intent. You actively choose when to engage the camera. Battery behavior also reflects these priorities. Xiaomi's glasses support typical daily audio usage patterns, intermittent listening, calls, standby, and recharge through a magnetic system that feels familiar if you've used wireless accessories. The routine is predictable: wear, use, recharge as needed. Because the glasses focus on audio, their energy demands align with that use case. Meta Ray-Ban glasses balance audio playback with camera capture, which influences how you think about power usage. Recording video or snapping photos uses more energy than passive listening, so your charging habits may reflect how frequently you use capture features. Neither device promises unrealistic endurance. Both operate within the practical expectations of wearable electronics. The important takeaway is that real-world battery behavior matches real-world use, something that builds trust over time. Connectivity reinforces the idea that these glasses are companions to your phone, not replacements. Pairing happens through Bluetooth, and most interactions depend on your smartphone ecosystem. This tethered relationship isn't a limitation. It's a reflection of how wearable tech currently integrates into daily life. Your phone remains the hub for apps, storage, and processing, while the glasses act as an extension for audio or capture tasks. That division of roles keeps the wearable lightweight and focused. One of the most interesting real-life observations is how quickly these glasses normalize themselves. After a few days, the novelty fades, and that's actually a success metric. Wearables that demand constant attention often become tiring. Devices that quietly support existing habits tend to last. With Xiaomi's glasses, you stop thinking about the technology and start appreciating the convenience. With Meta Ray-Ban glasses, you begin to view them as a perspective tool, something you reach for when you want to capture a moment without interrupting it. Social dynamics add another layer to everyday experience. Xiaomi's audio-only design minimizes external signals that you're using technology. From an outside perspective, you're just wearing glasses. That reduces social friction and eliminates ambiguity about recording. Meta Ray-Ban glasses, with their camera indicator light and capture capability, make their function more visible. This transparency is intentional and important, but it changes how interactions feel in shared spaces. You become more mindful of when and where you activate capture features. In practical daily life, these differences translate into distinct identities. Xiaomi's glasses function like wearable audio infrastructure: subtle, continuous, supportive. Meta Ray-Ban glasses function like wearable storytelling tools: expressive, intentional, situational. Neither approach is inherently better. They simply serve different priorities. What's compelling is how both devices illustrate a shift away from experimental prototypes toward wearables, designed for real people moving through real environments, and as you spend more time with them, a pattern emerges. The success of smart glasses isn't about replacing phones or redefining computing overnight. It's about shaving friction off everyday actions, answering calls, listening to information, capturing memories in ways that feel natural. Xiaomi's audio-centric philosophy emphasizes seamless presence. Meta Ray-Ban's capture-centric philosophy emphasizes perspective and expression. Both represent grounded, present-day wearable thinking rather than speculative future promises. That contrast sets the stage for a broader understanding of what smart glasses are becoming, not all-in-one replacements for screens, but focused tools that align with specific behaviors. And when you evaluate them through the lens of everyday experience instead of marketing expectations, their strengths become clearer, more human, and far more practical. And that's exactly where the conversation moves next, into how these glasses reshape habits, expectations, and the definition of what wearable tech should prioritize when it lives on your face all day, every day. And when you start thinking about habits instead of features, smart glasses suddenly become less about what they can theoretically do and more about how they quietly reshape the way you move through a normal day. This is where the contrast between Xiaomi's audio-focused glasses and Meta Ray-Ban's capture-focused design becomes especially meaningful, because habits form around friction, predictability, and trust, not novelty. Consider how often you normally reach for your phone. A notification arrives, you pull the device out, glance down, interact, then put it away. That motion repeats dozens of times daily. Smart glasses don't eliminate that cycle entirely, but they soften its edges. With Xiaomi's glasses, incoming audio, whether it's navigation guidance, a call, or media, arrives without forcing you to interrupt what your hands or eyes are already doing. You remain engaged with your environment. Over time, this subtly changes your rhythm. You're less dependent on constant screen glances because essential audio reaches you passively. This isn't about replacing your phone. It's about reducing micro-interruptions. When directions play through open-ear speakers, you don't need to stop walking to check a map. When a call comes in, you answer with a tap instead of digging into a pocket. These adjustments sound small, but repeated throughout a day, they accumulate into a smoother flow. The technology isn't demanding attention, it's supporting continuity. Meta Ray-Ban glasses influence habits differently. They're defining. Interaction is perspective capture. You're not just consuming audio, you're deciding when a moment is worth documenting. In practice, this changes awareness. Walking through a scenic area, you might instinctively reach for the capture button instead of your phone camera. Because the glasses sit at eye level, recording feels immediate and aligned with your natural viewpoint. That alignment can make the act of capturing less disruptive than lifting a phone, but it still remains an intentional choice. This distinction highlights an important truth about wearable tech. Devices shape behavior based on what they make easiest. Xiaomi's glasses make listening and communication frictionless, encouraging a steady background relationship with audio. Meta Ray-Ban glasses make hands-free capture accessible, encouraging creative moments when you want to preserve what you're seeing. Neither device forces behavior, but each nudges daily routines in a particular direction. Trust plays a big role in whether these habits stick. Wearables that behave predictably earn long-term use. Xiaomi's glasses succeed here because their interactions mirror familiar audio accessories. If you've ever used wireless earbuds, the logic feels recognizable. Connect, listen, tap to control. There's very little learning curve. The glasses become an extension of behaviors you already trust, which lowers resistance to daily wear. Meta Ray-Ban glasses introduce a slightly broader trust equation because capture involves privacy awareness. In social context, the built-in indicator light signals recording, and that visibility is essential. Over time, users develop an instinct for when capturing feels appropriate. This awareness isn't a flaw, it's part of integrating a camera into eyewear responsibly. The habit that forms is less about constant recording and more about selective, purposeful use. Another habit shift appears in how you experience ambient sound. Traditional earbuds isolate you to varying degrees. Open-ear audio, used by both Xiaomi and Meta Ray-Ban glasses, preserves environmental awareness. You hear approaching traffic, conversations, and announcements while still receiving audio content. This balance reduces the mental tension of switching between digital and physical spaces. Instead of stepping out of the world to listen, you layer information on top of it. In everyday terms, that means walking through a busy area while hearing directions without losing situational awareness. It means taking a call while still participating in your surroundings. Over time, this layered listening becomes natural. The glasses aren't competing with reality, they're coexisting with it. That coexistence is one of the strongest indicators that smart eyewear is moving toward practical maturity rather than experimental novelty. Comfort reinforces habit formation more than people often realize. A wearable that feels intrusive won't survive daily use. Xiaomi's lightweight, audio-centered build encourages long wear sessions because it doesn't constantly remind you. It's there. The glasses function like standard eyewear with added capability. Meta Ray-Ban glasses prioritize familiar styling and frame ergonomics, making them recognizable and socially comfortable. In both cases, comfort isn't just physical, it's psychological. You're wearing something that blends into normal expectations. Charging routines also shape behavior. Wearables succeed when their maintenance fits existing habits. Xiaomi's magnetic charging approach resembles other small electronics, predictable and quick to integrate into a nightly routine. Meta Ray-Ban glasses follow a similarly practical recharge pattern tied to typical usage. Neither device demands unusual rituals. This matters because friction in maintenance often determines whether a gadget becomes daily equipment or occasional. Novelty. Phone connectivity anchors both devices in a broader ecosystem. Your smartphone remains the processing hub, storage center, and interface manager. The glasses act as extensions, audio channels, or capture tools, rather than independent computers. This relationship keeps expectations grounded. You're not managing a separate platform. You're enhancing interactions with the device you already rely on. That continuity reduces cognitive load and helps the glasses feel like part of an existing system instead of a parallel one. Social environments reveal another layer of practical reality. Xiaomi's glasses maintain a low profile because their functionality is invisible from the outside. You're simply wearing glasses while listening. Or taking a call. This subtlety minimizes social friction. Meta Ray-Ban glasses introduce visible capture capability, which changes how people perceive interactions. Responsible use becomes part of the habit structure. Over time, users internalize when to activate features and when to remain passive, reinforcing respectful integration into shared spaces. Perhaps the most telling habit shift is how quickly these devices stop feeling like gadgets. After extended use, the novelty fades and the practical benefits remain. You stop thinking, "I'm using smart glasses," and start thinking, "I'm just listening," or "I'm just capturing a moment." That transition signals successful wearable design. The technology becomes infrastructure, something you rely on without actively noticing. When viewed through this lens, Xiaomi's approach emphasizes continuity. The glasses prioritize audio interactions that blend into daily routines, encouraging consistent wear without demanding attention. Meta Ray-Ban's approach emphasizes expression. The glasses support spontaneous capture while maintaining familiar eyewear aesthetics. Both philosophies acknowledge a core truth. Wearable tech works best when it enhances behaviors people already value instead of trying to invent entirely new ones. And that leads to a broader realization about the current state of smart eyewear. The future isn't defined by speculative features or dramatic reinventions of computing. It's defined by small, reliable improvements to how we communicate, listen, and document experiences. Xiaomi's glasses represent refinement, making audio interaction more natural. Meta Ray-Ban glasses represent perspective, making capture more immediate. Together, they show that wearable evolution is happening through practical steps, not leaps. In real daily life, that practicality is what determines longevity. Devices that quietly reduce friction become tools you trust. Devices that encourage intentional creativity become companions for specific moments. Smart glasses today sit at that intersection, supportive enough to wear regularly, focused enough to avoid overwhelming complexity. And when you zoom out, what becomes clear is that smart eyewear is no longer chasing spectacle. It's settling into a role defined by usability, comfort, and real human behavior. Xiaomi and Meta Ray-Ban illustrate two viable interpretations of that role. One centers on seamless audio presence. The other centers on hands-free perspective capture. Both succeed not because they promise a distant future, but because they function reliably in the present. That's the quiet transformation happening. Here, smart glasses aren't trying to replace the world in front of you, they're learning how to live inside it.